I'm Daniel, a 45-year-old man who owns a garage that represents the culmination of my life's work. This place, built from the ground up through my own determination, stands as a symbol of my journey. It all began at 18, when I spent 7 years honing my craft in my uncle's auto shop, saving every penny until I could start my own business. Those early days were exhausting, but I poured my heart and soul into creating this space. Over the next 30 years, it grew beyond my wildest dreams. As for my personal life, I found love with Emily. We met at an auto exhibition while she was still in college, and the connection was instant. We exchanged contact details, keeping in touch despite the distance. Months later, when she visited my hometown, something magical sparked between us. But soon after, tragedy hit. Her parents passed away, nearly derailing her studies. Seeing her pain broke my heart, so I used my savings to ensure she could complete her degree. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she threw her arms around me, tears streaming down her cheeks. 5 years later, Emily moved into my home, and life felt perfect. She landed a job at a local law firm, and together we raised 2 wonderful children. Sarah, now 18 and nearing the end of her university studies, and Michael, 17, playing electric guitar in a local band. Watching them chase their passions filled me with a profound sense of fulfillment. But over time, something changed in Emily. After 2 decades of marriage, I knew her completely, her habits, her thoughts, even the little white lies she'd occasionally tell. When she secured a high-profile position working for a prominent lawyer, cracks began to appear in our relationship. She started coming home late, and I could feel her pulling away. For 3 months, I stayed silent, observing her closely. Then one night, I couldn't hold back anymore. "Why are you always so late?" I asked, my tone edged with a frustration I'd never directed at her before. She'd never seen me like this. After 20 minutes of tense questioning, she broke down and confessed she was involved with her boss. My mind reeled, but I managed to ask, "Why?" Staring directly into my eyes, she replied, "You're the same man I married 20 years ago. You haven't grown. You're still anchored to that garage, dressed in those old clothes. I need someone who matches my drive, someone powerful, a true leader. You've been loyal, but it's not enough." Her words cut deeply, but I refused to let her redefine me. "So after 25 years, you're walking away because I don't fit your refined image? Because I'm not flashy enough for your high society events? Because I'm not domineering or harsh? Haven't I been a good husband? I supported your education, raised our children, made sure they could attend college. And that's not enough?" She stood firm. "You need to face it. I'm moving on with my new partner. If you resist, I'll ensure you lose everything. Your garage, your house, all you've built." I leaned back, a bitter smile crossing my lips. "You think you can take everything I've worked for with legal threats?" She smirked confidently. "Yes. Good luck." The next morning, she called her lover. "Mark, we have a problem. Daniel knows about us." Mark's voice was calm. "It's not a disaster. We planned for this." Emily sighed deeply. "I know, but it hurts. We've been married for 20 years, with 2 kids. I told him everything. He's been devoted, but it feels hollow when he lists all he's done." Mark reassured her, "Don't worry. I'll handle it. Just give me the garage's address. I'll bring the documents." That afternoon, Mark appeared at my shop. "Mr. Carter, can I come in?" he said. "I know who you are," I replied coldly. He pressed forward. "Emily told you about us. I'm her boss, supported by a team of top attorneys. If you fight this, we'll bury you in lawsuits, divorce filings, restraining orders. The works. This garage you built? It'll be gone." I let out a quiet laugh. "You think you can intimidate me?" Mark smirked. "I've done it before." I stood, my presence towering over him. "Let me tell you something, Mark. I built this place from scratch. I've spent my life providing for my family. You can try to take it all, but you'll never break my resolve. I've stood firm for 45 years, and I'm not crumbling now." Mark faltered briefly, then regained his composure. "We'll see." As he left, I knew this was only the start, but I was prepared. Earlier, Mark had offered advice. "You need to be more assertive with your wife," he'd said. Being the nice guy clearly didn't work. Be the leader, the dominant one. Show her who's in charge, like I did by winning her over. I stepped toward him, cutting him off. My fist slammed into his face, the crack of his teeth echoing through the shop. He staggered against the wall, shock spreading across the unbruised side of his face. That's lesson 1. Before he could react, I pulled him up, only to send him crashing back down with a vicious uppercut to his stomach. He collapsed, gasping for air. Lesson 2. As he struggled, my boot crashed onto his outstretched hand, shattering his wrist. Lessons 3 and 4. His groans stopped as I stomped on his chest, breaking several ribs, his face twisted in agony. Yes, Mr. Dominant, I said coldly. Be quiet. I'm teaching you something. In high school, I vowed never to use my strength to hurt anyone. But you, Mark, pushed me to break that promise. He coughed up blood, his eyes dimming as I pressed my foot lightly on his throat to keep his focus. Before you came here to gloat, I was willing to let you walk away. But now? You've changed my perspective. You want a lesson in dominance? Here it is. I pressed harder. The idea of an alpha male comes from wolves. But it's not always the strongest or smartest wolf who leads. It's the one who's relentless, who acts without hesitation. And you. I eased my foot off, watching him writhe. You're just a suit playing in a world you don't understand. He lay there, blood pooling around him. You have options, Mark. Go to the police, but there's no guarantee they'll lock me up. Maybe I'll make bail. Maybe not. Worst case, I serve 5 years. 5 years to learn how to inflict pain more effectively, to make people disappear. When I'm out, we'll have another conversation. Or, I straighten my shirt. You can take this as a warning, a lesson about what happens when you interfere with another man's family. I stepped back. Now leave my shop. That evening, Emily called him. Mark, I'm at the office. Where are you? I thought you'd be back. His voice was weak. I'm in the hospital. They moved me to a new ward. Emily was stunned. What happened? Were you in an accident? Mark paused. No. I underestimated your husband. Thought I could handle him. He broke my nose, my hand, some ribs, maybe my cheekbone. Emily gasped. That's impossible. Daniel's never been violent. Mark coughed faintly. Believe me, I can show you the scans. I need to rest. The pain meds are kicking in. The next night, Emily found herself stranded on a deserted road. Her cards were declined, her cash missing, her car out of fuel. She scrolled through her contacts, but no one answered, not even our children. As dawn broke, a truck pulled up. She froze as I stepped out. Get in, I said, not waiting for a response. She climbed in, trembling. I drove in silence before speaking. Here's the deal. You'll file for divorce. No alimony, no splitting assets. Everything I've earned stays mine. Emily nodded, her lips quivering. You keep what's yours. I don't care what reason you give for the divorce. But once it's finalized, you leave this town. The kids can see you if they want, but not near me. She stared, pale. If your belongings aren't packed and gone by 11 a.m. tomorrow, I added, they'll be burned. 5 days later, the divorce papers were on my desk. A few months later, I was a free man. Do I have regrets? Maybe. I regret the end of my marriage. Perhaps I regret that Emily couldn't value loyalty. But I don't regret showing Mark what true strength looks like.